is a clear text with a very weird comment which I will have to share with you. It says the following: when a case is too complicated for you to decide, present the problem to the judge. Once they have pronounced the verdict in the case, you should carry out exactly the way they told you. On this verse, the rabbis of the Talmud make the amazing comment. Listen. If the judges tell you that right is left, or if the judges say to you that left is right, you must accept their decision. Isn't that an incredible statement? Whatever the judges say, even if they say right is left or that left is right, you are supposed to accept their decision. Do you understand? I think this is a very un-Jewish statement, because we Jews are famous for arguing with each other and for questioning authority. So when a doctor gives you a diagnosis, what do? We ask for a second opinion. And when a rabbi makes a decision that you don't like, what do? Look for another rabbi. So here comes the Talmud, and it says right. If right is left, or left is right, we are supposed to obey him without question. So is this Talmud asking us to give blind obedience to a court, even when the court makes no sense? So Rabbi Chaim Yaakov Levin offers an explanation of this verse that I like very much. He says that if you are standing in front of a judge who tells you that right is left and that left is right, he's making a statement that is true from where he stands. From where you stand, something is right. From where he stands, the same object is left. Because his left is your right, and your right is his left. So, therefore, the meaning of the passage, according to Rabbi Levin, is when we are involved in a dispute, we must always try to understand the other person's perspective. What looks right from where he stands looks wrong when we stand. What looks wrong from where we stand looks right from where they stand. Therefore, whenever you are in a dispute, you must try to see the case not only from your perspective, but from your opponent's perspective as well. I learned this lesson from two people. One from the great pianist Arthur Rubinstein, and from our teacher, Abraham Yeshua Heschel. The story is told that when Itzhak Perelman, who is one of the great violinists of our time, made his debut in New York City, Yasha Heifetz, one of the other best violinists of all times, and Arthur Rubinstein were in the audience. In the first half of the concert, Perelman performed one work after another with amazing skills. His talent brought the audience to its feet, calling for returns and returns again and again and again. During the intermission, Heifetz turned to Rubinstein and says, "Isn't it awfully hot in here?" To which Rubinstein is supposed to have said, "Not for me, I'm a pianist." It's all a matter of perspective. If one of his books, Man is Not Alone, Dr. Abraham Yeshua Heschel gives another example of how perspective makes a difference. He tells the story of how he was once walking in Central Park and he overheard the conversation. A child and her father were walking together. And the child said, "Daddy, what's up above the sky?" That is a good question, isn't it? A child is full of wonder, and so when she looks up and sees the sun or the moon or the stars, she asks, "Daddy, what's up above the sky?" So the father answered her with one simple word. He said, "Er." And he walked on. So the child aired her nose and said, Which one was right? The child whose heart was full of wonder, who was fascinated when she looked up the skies, or the father who knew a little bit of science but had no appreciation for the wonder at the heart of the world? It all depends on your perspective. And so it's with many other things we look upon in life. I once saw two siblings as they came to my office to speak about mom's funeral. They fight over an object as if they were a matter of life and death. And after I tried to reason with the two of them, and I failed, I began to understand why. It was not the object itself that they were fighting about. It was what the object represented to each of them. For one of them, it was a way of saying, Mommy loved me better than she loved you, and she wanted me to have the object. And for the other, it was a way of saying, I never got the affection from Mom that I deserve, and I insist on getting the object. It's my revenge on you for all the special attention that you got from Mom that I didn't get. So it's hard to settle this kind of dispute. Believe me, I know, I've tried. You can compromise, you can sell the object and divide the money, but if for each of them the object is something symbolic, it's hard to settle. Each one is coming from a different perspective than the other one. And so, this is what I ask of you. The next time you are in a dispute, whatever it is with your wife, husband, partner, child, your business partner, or whoever, try to see the dispute from the point of view as well as from the other one. When you say to your child, your curfew is 11 o'clock sharp, that may seem reasonable to you, especially if it's later than your parents used to allow you. But if he's going out with his friend, and if they are all allowed to stay later than that, it feels awful for him not to be allowed to stay later than they can. And so both of you, the parent and the child, need to try to put themselves in each other's position and see the argument from each other's perspective. Only if you can't, you will be able to resolve the matter peacefully and fairly. So it's when there is a dispute between a husband and a wife, or between a partner in a business, or between members of a synagogue. If I am rich and money means very little to me, can I understand when someone of limited means is fighting me on $100? Can I fight for what I believe is right and still understand and respect the position of my opponent? If not, there can be no meeting of the minds and no peaceful relationships. It's not an easy thing to do, to try to imagine yourself in your opponent's shoes, but that is the only way to ever really resolve a disagreement. You have to ask yourself, how does this argument look from my opponent's point of view? It's the month of Elul already, 39 days till Yom Kippur. Elul is the Jewish gift to work on reconciliations between you and yourself, between those that because of misunderstandings are far away in your life. Remember, your right is somebody else's left, and your left is somebody else's right, and we should meet in the middle. Shabbat Shalom.